Hello there everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, where we are on the Raid Shadow Legends test server once again to try out the dynamic duo that you didn't know you needed in your game. You didn't know you needed them in your life, but they do some really cool things now. We are talking, of course, about the ultimate love story of Romeo and Juliet, or Romero. Yeah, it is Juliet, actually, isn't it? Yeah, Juliana. Romero and Juliana. There we go. These are two champions which received a massive buff in a recent patch, and we want to see what they are capable of doing. I've done some initial testing. I've been pretty impressed so far. So Romero is A1, right? He comes in, he's defense-based damage, attacks one enemy, a small version of continuous heal on the ally with the lowest HP for one turn. This isn't great, but the funny thing is, wait till you see the amount of active skills he has. 3-turn cooldown sucker. So the cooldowns on a lot of his abilities were buffed to be shorter, and now they're very short. 3-turn cooldown, continuous heal, the big version, on all allies for 2 turns, and steals 1 buff from each enemy. So he's going to need a bit of accuracy to do this, though it's not, you know, the most important that you have him steal. You can have him with no accuracy if you want to. I think this is quite nifty. We're going to try that out in Hydra. It's obviously going to be a big heal to our team. Then he also has Divine Benefaction. This does have a 4-turn cooldown, a shield buff on all allies equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns, and puts increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. So this will enable him to hit harder himself, which is cool, and it's a decent shield for the team as well. Then finally, he has an extra move when Juliana is on the same team, Stalwart Partner. 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies 3 times, and the damage scales off defense. Yes, hello, dog. Yes, hello. I've got a little doggy visiting me. Hello. There we go. If you want to see the dog, yeah, she was on stream yesterday. She's great fun. How have we built him up then? Well, it's an interesting question. So here's the thing, right? He does not attack with his A2. He does not attack with his A3. So it's like this weird thing of how much damage do you actually build him with? Do you bother building him with damage to actually make this move hit hard? And so on. This is what I decided. I'm actually trying him out in protection gear for a bit of fun. It's giving him resistance, HP, speed, and protecting those buffs. I think that's going to be quite nifty. He's putting out a lot of continuous heals. So for Hydra, where stuff can get stolen, and I am a bit worried with his A1 that this could, you know, really throw off the mischief tanking on Hydra and leave stuff getting stolen. At least there's a chance to protect his buffs, which is kind of cool. And I've built him up with really high speed too. Well, not really high, but very, very high with 257, about 4,000 defense, 47,000 HP. I do have him with 100% crit rate and a little bit of crit damage. And then I tried to give him a lot of resistance. I kind of fell a bit short. I wanted this to be a bit higher, but it is what it is. And then he's got some accuracy as well, so he can steal some buffs. So the idea here is that he should resist a decent chunk of what the enemy is doing. He'll be very fast. He's going to still be very tanky. He's going to hit reasonably hard. It's quite an all-rounder build. Let's see how it goes. I have him in Masteries. I've given him War Master, and then we're sent him down the support tree, giving him more healing, making the shield more powerful. I think this will be very strong. Turn meter when his buffs expire. More healing and shielding if the target's low on life. Lore of Steel, because protection sets quite a lot of stats. And Lasting Gifts to extend his buffs. Should really up the amount of healing that he does. I think this is the fun thing. If you don't have Juliana in there, he's basically doing most of the time healing in a single target attack. I think in that scenario, you actually wouldn't bother giving him War Master. I think War Master's only worth it if you run him with Juliana, and really building him with any crit rate or crit damage is probably only worth it if Juliana's there. Anyway, we'll see them in combo together. Let me show you how I built her first. Basically what I did, you guys know on the channel, after watching Madcapper showcase her, how much of a fan I am of Whisper. You can see Whisper's gear has been stolen away. Absolutely amazing champion. Because I do think that Juliana is basically budget Whisper. So she's in Whisper's gear. We have built her with about 5,000 attack, about 217 speed, 70% crit rate. She's going to give herself the extra 30% and 230% crit damage with enough accuracy to do her thing. And hopefully going to be getting extra turns with Relentless. So this is the same gear I've got Whisper in, so it's a good one-to-one comparison. Why is she so good? Why do I call her Budget Whisper? Well, Lethal Partner puts increased crit rate on her for 2 turns, then attacks one enemy twice. Now, the fun thing about this is the buff does not tick down at the end of her turn. In other words, I mean, on the turn that she puts this on, because she puts it on like during the move. Basically, long story short, it means that she can keep increased crit rate on herself all of the time. Obviously, it will drop off, you know, if when you're going between waves in like, you know, faction wars or dungeon, it will drop off there. But like in Hydra or something like that, so long as it doesn't get stolen, she will keep increased crit rate on herself 100% of the time. It's the exact same thing that Whisper does. Makes it very easy to build her for big damage. She's also going to put poison for 3 turns if the attack is critical. And this actually can hit on both hits, so she can put out 2 poisons for 3 turns. And ignores 50% of the target's defense when Romero's on the same team. The difference with Whisper's move, in fact I can show it to you. Whisper's move is almost the exact same, except she comes in, she does give herself increased attack, and she fully ignores defense if the target is under weaken. So Juliana doesn't. There's an argument for sure to build Juliana in Savage gear. It would make this hit really, really hard. So it's sort of up for debate whether you put her in Savage or put her in Relentless. Maybe Savage would be better here to really crank up the damage of this. But the poisons are a cool thing. Then she has her A3. Single target attack, removes all buffs from the target. Nice bit of utility. And then it also has, when booked, 100% chance of putting burn for 3 turns. So we're getting lots of poisons. We're getting the burn. She's going to be hitting hard. Her A1 is going to give her turn meter fill for each crit. We'll see how she goes. Her masteries, I've built her like this. So War Master, extending her debuffs. Very much the same thing as I did with Whisper. And that's basically it. That's basically what we've done here. I'm pretty excited. One thing to note as well before we move on, because I think this is kind of fun. Her cooldowns are now actually quite decent. This was the problem before. This is what they buffed. They made her cooldowns better. And check it out. She doesn't actually get any cooldown reduction from books. So she actually works pretty well unbooked, though she's going to hit substantially harder when she is booked. The first thing I want to show you, thought this would be a little bit of a fun team. Let's dive into some gameplay. Here we go. This is the team I put together, guys. What do we have? We got Deacon Armstrong giving us the AoE decreased defense and turn meter and leech. Romero is going to be healing, and I've actually set him to just nuke as his first priority, at least on the waves. Then we'll see. Juliana, she's coming in for the single target damage. We've got Phoenix in there as well. He's coming in because we got Phoenix and Talia as a combo too. Because I do have a 6-star Awakened Talia that I haven't really shown off. She's coming in with 5,000 attack, 284% crit damage. Just a tiny, teeny bit of crit damage. So we're going to see what she is able to do and how they compare. Let's dive in. Let's go. How is this team going to perform? I'm excited. I'm excited. 2 times speed. There we go. Decreased defense goes out. We have the nuke from Romero, not too bad. The nuke from Phoenix. We can see the hit from Juliana. She's getting some extra turns. And bam, we get a big nuke there from Talia. You see, we are having some struggles taking this guy down, but the block revive from Phoenix deals with him, no problem. Decreased defense back on. Single target hit from him. It's not bad, but it's definitely nothing to write home about. Unfortunately, no crits right there. We've got the counter attack now on Talia. Stalwart Partner comes out again, the AoE hit from Romero. And you can see, like, this is sort of the problem with him. In terms of the damage that he does, it's not super high. You can see I did put Cruelty. I did put Cruelty on Talia just to try it out, seeing as she's counterattacking. Ooh, Phoenix gets smacked. He's in a bit of a bad way. We've got a bunch of buffs on the enemy. That's definitely going to be annoying. How are we going to get past that? Well, hopefully Juliana is going to show us how. Or Romero. He can steal buffs. Juliana can remove all the buffs. Brilliant. We get through. On to the boss. Let's see what happens here. We start off with the nuke from Romero. We got big hits coming in from Juliana. One thing on this team, she does not have a increase attack with her. So that's going to slow her down a bit. We've got the heal on. You can see some of them are protected as well. This could go a little bit badly. That random ally attack the boss does. This could pick you off. Big hits again coming in from her. Massive hit comes in from Talia. She puts out a bomb as well, which is quite fun. The little continuous heals going out now. Decreased speed looks like it missed. We got extra turn here. Crit rate is on. 2 big hits and 2 big poisons. We got weaken is on as well. We got counter attack now. So when the boss starts attacking, we're going to really start stacking up cruelty. Big hit from Juliana with the extra turn. In with the A1 as well. So I think the relentless set is being reasonably useful. We've got the heal on now. Resurrect has gone out, but I don't think it matters. Massive hits again from that Talia. And kabam. Down the boss goes. 2 minutes. So the fun thing about this, guys, 2 minutes, right? The fun thing about this my best team, which uses like Cupidus and Astralon, does it in about 1 minute 50. This team right here is almost as fast, which I think is pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy. And I couldn't believe it when I did my test run earlier, because I was looking at the damage and I was like, yeah, the 6-star Talia, she's absolutely smacking. Juliana, we're expecting her to do good damage. Phoenix, randomly, did the most damage. Phoenix is absolutely slamming. I don't know how this happened, but this guy is an absolute monster. Somehow, some way, Phoenix is the number one. We can see Juliana actually did out damage that 6-star Awakened Talia. She did do more. Obviously, they're in different styles of builds, but her damage is very respectable. I was so impressed by Phoenix. I thought it was kind of nuts. Like, just to reiterate, guys, like he's not in some crazy gear. So Phoenix kind of stood out as the MVP, but Romero, lots of healing. His damage isn't amazing, but it's good healing. Phoenix, I mean, he's in lethal. To be fair, he's in lethal, but, you know, 4.3, 215, he's just kind of a beast. Phoenix. There you go. But I did think that both these champions were good, and as you can see, we absolutely slammed through Faction Wars there. So the next thing I want to test out, let's jump into Dragon. Let's do see stage 20 first, because we got no poisons. And this is the team I wanted to try out. So what we got going on here, well, I wanted to throw in the new fusion. She's going to be giving us crowd control of the waves and turn meter boosting and turn meter manipulation, so keeping us ahead of them. Romero, I've also set him. I've actually set him to open up with his increased defense move, so we can see how hard he will hit. Give himself increased defense for the first hit. Mist Rider Dahi, he's coming in here with our decreased defense. Juliana then, she's just going to be prioritizing her crit thing every turn to make sure she gets her crit up. And then we're going to have Ursula come in, giving us increased attack, decreased attack for the enemies, and then a revive and more increased defense for Romero as well. So I think it's a nice little combo of a team, fairly accessible team. Mist Rider Dahi was really the standout for me in the Kunoichi showcase, so we're going to see how he does here and how Juliana compares. And we really want to see how much damage she can do to the dragon as well. So there we go. We get True Fears. We get the shield on as well, though that's probably going to fall off. It's mostly about the increased defense. And bam, Juliana, you can see it looks like it's less damage than you would think. There's the hit from Romero. It's okay. It looks like Juliana's doing less damage, like 120,000 there. Her A2, remember, it hits twice. She's actually killing them with just one hit. And Mist Rider Dahi, he's just ripping people apart. This guy is ridiculous. I think I might need to do just a full showcase of this champion, because I don't think, has anyone else done a showcase of him? He's just so good. Like, he is so good. Here comes the hit from Romero, and again, it's just not that strong. I feel like the main use for that hit is really just proccing, you know, War Master and AoE or stun set or something like that. It's just, I feel like it's really wonky, because if you built him full damage, it's kind of like, what's the point? Because he doesn't attack on most of his hits, you know? So here we go. I think he just stole some buffs right there. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention. He might have stolen some buffs, which is cool. Mist Rider Dahi, stop taking extra turns, dude. He's stealing all the kills. This champion's insane. We get to the boss, and this is where we're really looking to see what we can make happen here with Juliana. Bam. In with Fire's Purgation, so 60k. She didn't have increased attack on, and the burn is now on, so that's going to be helping us burn down the boss. Now she has increased attack. I'm ready to see what she can do. 70k, 80k, massive hits, and 2 poisons as well. Those poison ticks and the burn tick just did a massive extra chunk of damage. I feel like it really, really does add up here. Jesus, Mist Rider Dahi, he just doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. Unbelievable. Her A1 smacks hard. Nothing too crazy, but it does hit hard. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. What is this champion? Unbelievable. Here we go. We've got an extra turn for Juliana. She's not letting Mist Rider Dahi take all the credit. Again, she has outrun there the increased attack, which is a slight downside. But she's still hitting hard. She now has 4 poisons stacked up on the boss. And the boss goes down about 2 minutes. Pretty respectable time. God, I tell you, this Dahi absolutely stealing the spotlight. This champion is insane. Juliana here. She's put out good damage. Yeah, I mean, she's putting out good damage. And those poisons on the dragon, the HP burn, Like that damage, if you got worse gear than what I have now, that damage is still going to be the same, right? So we're running with very good gear on these champions. If you got worse gear, their direct damage is going to go down, but Juliana's poisons, the burns, that damage will stay the same. Romero, he's put out some damage, nothing crazy, but it's all right. So yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like you necessarily need to run them together, though it does make Juliana hit harder, but they don't seem necessary to run together. It's sort of my vibe so far. Let's try them out in the Hydra. We're going to jump into Hydra hard. And we have a team. Yeah, we've got a team ready to go here. So this is the team. We have Nekmothar for upping our speed, decreasing theirs, and giving us leech. We have Ugo for decreased defense and block buffs. We have Hex coming out from Mithrala and the increased attack that Juliana needs to really achieve her potential. Increased defense as well for Romero, which is nice, and cleansing and shielding for us. We got lots of shielding really between these two champions. Then Rector Drath healing us up, reviving if we need it. Romero obviously pumping out the heals, and then Juliana being the only source really of damage, the only proper damage dealer. Yeah, we will see how it goes. I certainly think in this sort of composition, I think that Whisper, or I use like a Turvold, I've used Whisper, I really enjoy both of those. They are both very capable of doing the job. I think I also have them with default priority, so we'll see what Romero decides to do here. Here she goes in, that lethal partner. You can see she's absolutely smacking. Unfortunately, she did get her buff stolen right there. So this is a problem. And this is, in fact, I can tell you right now from my testing, this was the big problem that I faced with this champion, which is, if I was running this team with Whisper, I would not be bringing in another healer like Romero. I'd be bringing in a Mischief tank. However, with Juliana, to try to achieve her max potential here, you start to really run out of slots in your team. Okay, we need a decreased defense and block buff, so Ugo is best in class. Then we do need increased attack to try to make her hit harder. And that's a problem. And then we need a Romero in there as well. But then we're also going to need a reviver because Juliana's so squishy, she can absolutely die. So we start running into these issues, and then we've got, the speed boosting, decrease attack leech from Nekmothar. Like, he is so good. It's hard not to bring him in. So this is sort of the problem I run into. Again, you can see her getting some extra turns. She's hitting hard. She is ripping through this head with that Hex debuff. We're able to really target down Mischief and do a lot of damage. Here we go. Unfortunately, we haven't landed the taunt, so we're going to get the stuff cleansed off. One problem with Juliana, for sure, in Hydra as well, where she is going to fall off, is that if you're leaving her in full auto like this, obviously, not all of the heads are vulnerable to poison, right? A lot of them don't get poisoned. So, for example, if she's not landed any poisons on Mischief, you simply cannot poison that head. So that is a downside, a big downside of Juliana here. Now, you can poison Decay, but they're bad affinity this time around. The counterattack's actually quite nice here, and she's going to be good with ally attack as well because she gets her turn meter stuff. We just couldn't fit in any counterattack or ally attack though. The burn onto this head, lovely. So she's hitting some kind of random stuff. That's okay. We can only poison Decay in the... maybe you can poison Wrath. I can't remember actually. Don't think so. But I don't think you can poison Wrath. Suffering and Decay are the big ones, but it's going to depend on affinity. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Here we go. She's smacking that head. Not too bad. But you guys kind of get the gist of how this is going. Again, you can see that buff steal coming in, which is annoying. Just one thing to mention, because Romero just did it there as well. One problem I found with them in combo as well on Hydra, I don't know if you saw it, but bear in mind, his bonus skill that he gets when Juliana is in, what does it do? It is a triple hit AoE. That stacks up the Wrath meter really quickly. Like he does it every 3 turns, and if he's running this fast, he absolutely cranks that bad boy up so fast. So Wrath is going to pop off all the time. It makes block buffs to stop him getting increased attack. It makes that decreased attack really important. I actually found in my testing it went wrong a couple of times. Like if Wrath gets buffed up, Romero is going to trigger him so quickly. And it's something about Juliana as well. She has her Fires of Purgation is bam, look at that, big hits. Let's actually target this, and now let's really see what she can do. Yeah, what was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. Cool, we got decreased attack out though. That's good. She's really going to take off when when Mischief isn't there to steal her buffs, because we weren't able to fit a Mischief tank in. Here she goes. She's going in just for some A1s. Those A1s are hitting really hard without increased attack. Unfortunately, she's going to be eaten here. There we go. She has been eaten, so we'll have to try break her free. Luckily, that the brimstone really, really helps. So we'll take that. Thank you very much. Romero, stalwart partner, is doing some damage. You know, he's doing some damage. It's cool. But it's a kind of a downside. I almost was at the point where I was considering just turning it off, to be completely honest, because I wasn't super taken with it. It's just a bit awkward. Here we go. She could get really smacked around here. Let's see, because we do have some provokes on. One thing we haven't seen too much, because we do have good buff control, is Romero stealing buffs, but that can be really useful too. Okay, this is good. This is actually very good. There we go. We're cleansed. The smack comes in. She's fine. Let's see what she is going to decide to do. Actually, let's take control of her for a second. Okay, she's just doing her A1. Never mind. It might be worth like putting up the poisons on the Head of Suffering. Oh, he's got Poison Cloud on now. That's not going to happen, but yeah. There you go. You get the gist. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it run through at this point. I'll obviously unpause and show you guys if something interesting is going to come up. I'll try to get Juliana actually free hitting on a decapitated. Actually, maybe let's stay with us for 1 minute here. Let's see her start smacking a decapitated head. Again, she's doing about 200k right there with no increased attack. Increased attack is now on. Decreased defense is now on. We don't have a weaken with this team, which is something that Whisper brings in. She's going in, fires a purgation, 300,000. Let's see her A1. 140, 145. Again, another 300k on Head of Wrath, decapitated. Very respectable. Unfortunately, she's not going to have increased attack for the big hitting move. Actually, she's been provoked. We might have a cleanse. We'll see. Can we get to the A2? Can we do it on a decapitated head? That's what I really want to see here. Come on, make it happen. It's probably not going to happen. One downside, if Romero had a cleanse, I'd feel it much easier to fit him into this team. But unfortunately, he doesn't. Okay, so she's going to smack this head instead. Bam, bam. Not too much happening there. Unfortunately, no extra turn. I think this head might outspeed us. Let's see. We might have the speed boost here. No. Maybe. He does have decrease. He doesn't have decreased speed. We can maybe get it. Increase attack is on. Come on, don't respawn. Oh, and he's respawned. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So she's going in again with the lethal partner. I mean, that hits so hard. We'll see. Okay, I'll be back if we get around to it with decreased defense. I'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. Actually, it worked out well because we're coming up to that one key point. We should now get that big Juliana smack on a decapitated head. Let's see how much damage it can do. Bam, bam. About 300k. Not too bad. Oh, no, she had decreased attack on. No, she had I was thinking 300k was good. With decreased, that's half damage. She would have done 600k on a decapitated head. That would have been 600,000 damage if it wasn't for the decreased attack. Ah, that's quite annoying. Who put a decreased attack right before? That's unfair. That is unfair. But yeah, we're coming in. Not too bad. Let's lock in the 1 key. We'll do 21 million and we'll call it there. So this team definitely worked. It works really well. Definitely the issue was, the problem here is that, well, with Juliana, like I said, it's just hard to build a team comp to make the most out of it. I think in a way she might probably be better off without Romero. It's like, yeah, she's not going to hit as hard, but she really gets messed up by having her buffs stolen constantly. Let's just see here how good she is at breaking a head free. I think that'll be a nice test when someone gets devoured here in a second. Like Romero, he's cool, but like his extra move isn't that good for Hydra with her. It's not great. And just in terms of team comp, I just think it's awkward. Here she goes in, big smack. She's almost broke them free in one hit here on hard. That was very close, big hits. Let's see, she's probably going to come around to another move. Unfortunately, he just got cleansed. No, he is free after the brimstone. So wow, one Juliana hit plus brimstone and breaks them free. So in terms of the overall damage, roughly speaking, I do think it's impressive amounts of damage. 21.7. Nekmothar, that brimstone actually did a lot this run. He did 6 million. Juliana, though, at 7.4. Mithralo at 3.3. A lot of that's coming from the Hex, which is really replicating Juliana damage. Romero's not bad, like 2.3. He does more damage than Ugo, for example, but it's not a crazy amount of damage. It's not crazy damage. It's good, but not crazy. What I will say, he does a lot of healing. Check that out. He's done over twice as much healing as Ugo, and he's actually slightly out-healed Rector Drath. I think that's very impressive. I think that really is very impressive. Yeah, I think... So it's interesting. I just don't know if the two of them together is necessary. Just because you have to fit so many things in. You need another reviver. I guess you could put in something like an Arbiter. Maybe like Arbiter and an Inquisitor Shamail. That might work if you switched out these two for Arbiter and Inquisitor Shamail. So you wouldn't be dealing with the fears then. You'd have increased attack. You'd have a revive. That might work. Let me try that. Let me give it a try. Hang on. Oh, Ugo's missing gear. Well. Oops. Right, let me throw together a team. I'll be right back. Okay, great. So we fixed the gear. I think this is looking pretty good now. So what we've got going on, let's try this team as well. I won't make you watch the whole thing, but same thing. We've got Neckmouth Iron Taunting set. Going to be doing all the speed control, decrease attack, leech. Ugo for the decreased defense block buff. She now has better speed and more health. So I do expect her to probably out-heal Romero this time. Juliana doing the damage. Romero, I've actually set his priorities to mostly do the heals, but then to also prioritize the AoE. So let's see how that works. Doesn't seem that impressive. We'll see. Arbiter is just going to do her thing. And then Shamail, I've built him as a mischief tank type character. He's got resistance. So we will see how that works. Will he actually be able to mischief tank or not? I'm not sure. I'm just thinking, will I put Juliana? I'm going to try Juliana in Savage. Let's try her in Savage as well. So I'm going to switch her gear, switch her into Savage. So I'll be right back with her in Savage. All right, guys, this is the re-geared Juliana. We're stealing gear from all sorts of people. 5.4k attack, slightly less tanky, but a good bit faster. Basically the same across the board. We're going to see if we can up her accuracy a little bit. Okay, let's just sell some stuff. It's test server, don't panic. Everything's fine. It's just the test server. There we go. Sell those artifacts. Great. Don't need them. Test server's closing in a couple of days anyway. Let's see. Can we get any more accuracy? 180 is too low. Got attack there. Any accuracy that we can glyph? That has accuracy. Man, we've really very little accuracy. How much accuracy? She's got tons on this. I can't really improve that. Ooh, what about her masteries? So she's gonna get a bit extra. This is stretching it. She's gonna get an extra 16. Oh gosh, I don't know about that for Hydra Hard. Let me check. Okay, yeah, you know what? I think she will mostly get away with it. She'll mostly get away with it. Let's try it out. Head of Suffering's going to mess it up, but we'll be okay, I think. Right, let's dive in. Let's try. The thing I'm concerned about here is obviously Inquisitor Shamail is not the best mischief tank. Let's watch this for a little bit. Let's see what happens, though. We get this stuff out. Here we go. Decreased defense is in. She's definitely hitting harder. That was a big hit considering that that head does not have decreased defense on. Stalwart partner coming out. It's good damage. Oh, she's being targeted again. It's just going to be a problem. It's just going to be a problem. The only way I can really see to fix it is to get rid of Romero. And also that's really annoying with him getting the cleanse off. Yeah, we can't have that. We can't have that. Oh my God, stop. Shamail, stop waving your hands around and let us end the key. We need to provoke him turn 1. That needs to happen. No provoke. Let's regroup. It's really important he gets provoked. I think we might get away with... We might get two attempts. We should get 2 attempts. Let's see here. But it's very awkward. I also don't know why she decided to... Let's target this guy. Man, she really smacked him hard right there. That was a big hit. Obviously, she can't poison him, though. Okay, we didn't get the provoke. We need to restart. Yeah, like, how do we... It's just so awkward because she gives herself increased crit rate. She gives herself an extra buff. Okay, good. We got that on. Like, how do we have her not be the Hydra tank? About 200,000 damage there against Head of Wrath, though, is very respectable. Very respectable. Okay, weak hit. That's good. That's what we needed. Here we go. Let's see what she can do. She's going to start outrunning some buffs now, so she should be safer, and hopefully Shamail will take over. Let's see. Shamail, he's trying his best. Good. That missed. All right. The shield is not good. The shield is definitely not good from Romero. Yeah, she's just bad with Romero. Honestly, in Hydra, I actually think she's just bad. You just don't have enough team slots to get away with this. Because she's hitting hard. Okay, there it worked well. It worked well. The continuous heal from Romero counterattack, that's going to throw some stuff off, possibly in our favor. It's just really awkward. The Romero increased defense is kind of the game changer here, actually. That's actually pretty important. Him giving himself increased defense helps a ton. It puts him slightly ahead on the buffs, but it's still awkward. There we go. Romero's doing a good job, actually. Romero mischief tanking a little bit with the increased defense. We built him a good resistance. I don't know, though. Oh, it's so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent. Because he only has increased defense up half the time. Well, we'll see a turn in a minute here whenever he finishes doing all his A1s. All right. But her damage seems pretty good. You know what? I'm going to go run out the 1 key and I'll tell you how it went in the end. I'd love to see her against a decapitated head. I'm really excited to see how hard she hits. She's certainly hitting hard. This team, as you can see, it's definitely not as stable as the last time. The constant triggers, I'm not sure if this is going to work. The constant triggers of Head of Wrath is making this pretty scary with the Arbiter variation. Maybe, probably, you know what? Ursula the Mourner would probably be better here. The problem with Ursula is that... Okay, stuff's stolen. That increased attack being stolen. Hopefully we can block that. Yeah, like Arbiter might just die. Can he do enough healing to keep her up? I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, it's the moment of truth. We might get... Oh, she's got decreased attack. We've got no increased attack. Never mind. It's a decent hit here. I will say we're about halfway through this run so far. This team is definitely much worse than the last one. It's up and down. Oh, unlucky. What we really want to happen, we really, really want the Head of Torment to come in, at which point I think this team will really take off. I did have to switch Arbiter out for Ursula. Arbiter just wasn't working. Ursula with good resistance, so she doesn't get poisoned, gives us a much more stable anchor. So I think that she's working really, really well. And boom. Okay, we've got a decapitated head. Oh, she's hit the wrong thing. That's okay. Let's see. She has increased attack on, but she's just wasted her good move. I'm really liking her in Savage, actually. I think she hits a lot harder. It's more consistently good. I'd definitely be putting her in Savage if I could. Yeah, like that ignore defense. She's definitely hitting really well. Let's see how she's going to hit now in a second when we come back around and we get it with the decreased defense on. I definitely prefer Whisper overall to her. There's really no doubt. Whisper doesn't have any affinity issues. The poison, the HP burn that Juliana is providing aren't that useful for Hydra. Like, they're good, but they're not essential. Whereas I feel like Whisper is a bit better. Of course, Whisper gives herself increased crit rate, increased attack, which makes having a mischief tank even more important. Look at that, 400k with an extra 48k proc. It's very respectable damage. Like, she really does hit hard. There's no doubt about it. Like, she does smack. She really does smack. It's just the question of, is it enough? And the mischief thing is a pain. Look at that counterattack on that head of mischief. Really nice. About 200k damage right there on that head. Again, really nice damage. Yeah. Like, she's good. She's good. I think she's like a budget Whisper. I think for Hydra, budget Whisper. And Romero is just a good healer. I don't think they really need to go together, though. I think you run Romero as like a healer, keep your team alive, and he's a budget healer. He's not as good as Rector Drath, who brings you Perfect Veil and stuff, but as a budget option, he's fine. And I think Juliana, as a budget Whisper, is also fine. But they're going to be better. Like, you just take one of my teams with Whisper or with Turvold. You take one of those teams, you put Juliana in, and you just forget about this Romero Joker, and I think you're going to have a better time. Anyway, I'll be back at the end of the run, and yeah, there we go. Okay, guys, coming in right to the end of the run, one really interesting thing I just noticed there, which is actually kind of cool, is that because Romero's secret skill is a triple hit, when you do have Inquisitor in there, big smacks from Juliana again, when you do have Inquisitor in there, it actually triggers a whole bunch of counterattacks. It does a ton of turn meter boost. We'll see if we can see it now in a second. He's going to be eaten in 6 turns, but I think we will lap around and get to see it. Let's see what happens when he does it. Here he goes. Look at this. Look at all those counterattacks. Boom, boom, boom. Because he gets True Feared 3 times, right? He gets True Feared 3 times. Every single hit, True Fears him, Shamail cleanses, True Fears him, Shamail cleanses. So you get 3 of those turn meter boosts onto your lead champion. That's actually kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting. It's difficult to test on the rotation that's on the test server because we didn't have... yeah, it's the only... we only just got decreased defense on this head right now, so we're going to miss the big chance to show damage. Bit of a bummer. I'd love to get like Lanicus or something. Getting a Lanicus or something like that into this team instead of Romero, just to see like the sort of damage that she could really do. But here we go. We're coming up to the 1 key again. This team also worked pretty well. Boom, fires a purgation. Lovely. There we go. So yeah, intriguing. And again, we can see the damage breakdown. Juliana 6.3 million this time. Necmo 5.6. It's pretty similar stuff, really. Excuse me. I think she is slightly better in Savage. It's just a bit awkward with the whole mischief tanking thing. Again, if I was to take this, I actually think this is the core of a good, solid team. The big difference I would probably do, I think the leech from Necmo and Ugo is enough, plus the Ugo healing. I think that's probably enough to keep you alive with the Ursula. I'd actually take Romero out. Like, yeah, he's doing a ton of healing, but I don't think you actually need it. And I would switch in Lanicus, and then ultimately Juliana, great, but put in Whisper, she's going to be better. Put in Turvold, he's going to be way better. But I do think something like Lanicus, extending your buffs, which is going to give you better coverage, I guess is not that important. I guess we don't, if we take out Romero, we don't have that many buffs to actually extend, huh? But the ally attack is kind of nice, and Lanicus can also mischief tank, which is useful. Having a proper mischief tank I think is important. But yeah, basically, what do I think of these 2 epics? I actually think these are 2 really respectable epics now. Juliana, very potent single target damage dealer. I've seen some testing of her in Clan Boss as well, where she looks to be really good. Actually very, very strong. Looks like she can actually... I think Hell Hades did a test and she was actually outperforming Frozen Banshee. I think it was him. I think he was the one that did it, but she is impressive and she does not need to be with Romero. The ignore defense is cool, but I don't think it's enough to bother putting them together. Look, she gives herself increased crit rate. She's going to hit hard. She puts out potentially 2 poisons, putting out the burn, hitting hard. I think she's a solid damage dealer. Yeah, I think, again, early mid-game, I think she's fantastic. I actually think early game, absolute MVP early game, because she's really good unbooked. And then when you do book her up, she needs quite a few, but she's going to hit much, much harder, like 20% more damage when you book her up, which is still pretty good. So that's quite worthwhile. I think she's great. I do think that champions like Whisper, Turvold, etc. really start to outperform her in the later game. But for early game, solid. And then Romero, again, I think also solid. You know, he's doing a good bit of healing. He's doing a decent bit of shielding. He's very tanky. The secret skill, again, the 2 of them in combo, it's not that strong. It is kind of nifty. This works, I thought, well for things like dungeons, and it's going to work well for waves and faction wars. I thought that was quite nice, and especially if you ran him with stun set or provoke set. Provoke set would be pretty good because he's really tanky. He can definitely take the punishment, and it's got a better chance to land. I think that's the appeal of this. It's just proccing War Master AoE, proccing things like stun set, AoE, provoke set, AoE, taunting set. But apart from that, he doesn't, you know, he doesn't have that many attacks. There's not really a point in building him for damage. He's got good healing, good shielding, but again, not amazing. He's definitely outperformed by better champions. He's like a mid-tier epic, I would still say. Good. He's good. He's worth building. He's worth using. Do not sleep on this guy. This is not an instant vault guy. And you can see the shield does get a lot better when you book it up. The shield's going to get much, much stronger. He's worth booking, and he doesn't need that many books. He is a good champion. He's worth using in the early to mid game. He could be an absolutely fantastic champion for you. But again, late game, he is going to fall off, right? And as you saw for Hydra, they're certainly viable, but you need a really good team. I think it's difficult to make them work. I think they're going to smash Hydra normal. They're both very good for Hydra normal. For Hydra hard and above, they start to get a bit questionable. I think that Juliana is better for Hydra hard. I think she's actually going to be quite decent. until you get like a whisper, pretty much. So there you go. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.